the directors of The Love of the Nightingale.
I'm Florence and I'm playing Philomela in the play.
My body bleeding, my spirit ripped open, and I am the cause. No, this cannot be right. Why would I cause my own pain? That isn't reasonable. What was it then? Tell me, Tyrius, if I was not the cause. You must know it was your act. You must know.
It is a play about gender, female sexuality.
I'd say it's about the dominators and the dominated. Intersectionality, that's how I would sum it up in a sentence. People don't exist as like one thing, you know, you're not only your gender or only your sexuality or only your race. And so intersectionality is the kind of understanding the complexity of identity and how those things interrelate to inform the way people exist in the world.
Obviously in recent years there have been a lot of news stories, and it's been very kind of public and prominent talking about gender, and especially about females and their sexuality. And I just think that it's a really important issue to still be talking about now.
I think as a woman it's impossible to not be affected by this play. It's one of the many reasons I picked it.
Myself and most of the women that I know have had to deal with some kind of gender equality at some point in their life, whether it's, you know, a catcall walking down the street or someone being promoted over you, you know, anything like that.
You know, it almost feels like Wertenbacher could see the future, the themes she deals with and discussions being had in society now are just so fitting to the play. It's kind of amazing that it was written 30 years ago. I mean, obviously, like, gender equality has improved and it continues to improve, but there's so much still to do. I think the fact that the play resonates with us so much means that no, not enough. I really hope that in 50 or 100 years people will read the play and go, wow, that makes no sense to me at all. But unfortunately, we read it and go, yeah, there's something very true in it.
The play can be quite challenging because obviously there are a lot of darker issues, and there are things like rape and sexual assault and things like that have to be dealt with. But when performing it, you don't want to make it a satire, and you don't want to, you know, do it in a kind of stereotypical way, because you don't know who may have experienced it, who's going to see the play, and you don't want them to feel like they're underrepresented or represented in the wrong way.
The way it deals with gender, but not only gender, but gender as an allegory for other types of inequality, in particular like colonialism, was a really big draw for me. And the fact that Wertenbacher takes the classical structure of Greek theatre and then subverts that to kind of make wider points. I just think everything about the way it's constructed and the themes that it deals with is absolutely wonderful.
So I think I was attracted to the play mostly because of the topics that are involved with it, because it's, you know, in a lot of plays nowadays you do see these big topics and these darker topics being talked about and being discussed, but I think that this play does it in such a unique way, and I think it's just really clever doing it through a Greek myth.
I knew as soon as I read it that it's a play I wanted to direct at some point in my life. I think one of the reasons I pitched it is that it's a play that I think is very important to do in Wales. It's been performed twice before in Aber.
I play Philomela, and she talks a lot in the play. A lot of her power, I think, comes from her words and her use of language, and she's constantly asking questions. She's very inquisitive, and I think that aspect of her, you know, I'm not necessarily the most talkative in all situations, but her inquisitive nature, I think, is quite relatable. She always wants to know what's going on, who people are, where she is, and she thinks a lot about what she says and the issues going on around her as well.
The truth! Men and women of Thrace, the truth!
To silence her, Tyrius cuts out her tongue, and that's a much more obvious and, you know, physicalization of silencing. And as I said before, you know, the themes of colonialism, of the power of countries over each other. And when you look at the history of England and Wales, and specifically with the Welsh language and the way that that has been silenced brutally for, you know, hundreds of years, but, you know, very specifically recently.
The English kind of influence over Wales and the Welsh language not being spoken very much anymore.
You're aware of the devastation of a culture through the targeting of language. Yeah, I think the issues in the play, they're applicable to everyone because it's not just about gender, it's about power and power structures, and we all are situated in some way amongst so many different power structures. I think that there's nobody who couldn't benefit from seeing or reading this play.